Skip to content. Skip to content. You said, I will share with you my script. You have to read it. Understand the tone of the script. Do nothing, just understand it. ChatGPT said, absolutely, go ahead and share your script. I'll read it and focus on understanding the tone. No actions taken until you say so. You said, Outlander Season 8 is about to be here. And it is officially linking Blood of My Blood storyline directly to the Outlander highly anticipated finale. Yes, you heard it right. We are very much close to a grand finale, and we need to talk about it. Season 8 kicks off with Jamie and Claire returning to Fraser's Ridge, but it's not the ridge we remember. It's now a grown, bustling spot and clearly changed while they were gone. The official synopsis nails the vibe as it says, with new arrivals and changes made during their years away. The Frasers are confronted with the question of what they are willing to sacrifice for the place they call home, and more importantly, what they would sacrifice to stay together. Well, I don't know about you guys, but to me, this is an amazing explanation, and it goes even deeper as it continues. While the Frasers keep a united front against outside intruders, family secrets, finally coming to light, threaten to tear them apart from the inside. Although they've left the war for America's freedom behind, their fight for Frasers, Ridge has only just begun. Of course, the official synopsis sounds amazing, but I think we can all agree that the thing that we are most curious about is Faith Fraser. That Season 7 cliffhanger left the possibility that Jamie and Kella's daughter might not have actually died at birth. Like, guys, believe me, when I say I have been losing sleep over this, seriously, like, it might be one of the best twists in the entire Outlander story. The good thing is that co-showrunner Matthew B. Roberts promised we'll see this mystery addressed right at the start of Season 8. After more than a decade following this family, we deserve answers, as many of, the new Outlander Season 8. Teaser just got released, and the final moment in the trailer basically showed us the journey that the story is about to take. In the now very famous scene, we see Jamie and Claire together. And then out of nowhere, a voice calls out, Miss Fraser! Claire freezes. I mean, literally freezes. Like, I doubt we ever saw her face that pale. In fact, I can swear that she just heard of the voice of a ghost. And I am not wrong because many of us, myself included, think it could be Henry, Claire's father from the Blood of My Blood prequel. Yep, I know, it is crazy. I mean, it is a man's voice, which is why I eliminate Julia as an option. But Henry is the first contender for sure. In Claire's timeline, he supposedly died years ago in a car accident. But since this is Outlander, death is never really the end, especially with time travel in the mix. It is rumored that Henry have traveled forward in time, aiming to go back to the 1940s, but somehow ended up in Claire's timeline, kind of like how Roger ended up meeting his father in the past. There are also rumors that it could be Claire's brother, but to be honest, that feels less likely, at least to me. Claire wouldn't know someone she's never met, and her stunned reaction looks like pure recognition to me. It could also be someone else entirely. Maybe Lord John, Gray, or even William James' son. I mean, yeah, it's possible, but I'm leaning hard toward Henry and even Julia. I know we heard a man's voice, but the thing is, Julia can always be with Henry alongside him. And let's be honest, bringing both of them in would connect the prequel series directly to the main story, which would be absolutely epic for the final season of this long saga. By the way, as you can expect, the Mackenzies are back too. Brianna and Roger might even be expanding their family this season. Because Sophie Skelton just gave us a spoiler in a recent interview. She said, I think it would be great if they had another child and wearing fake, Pregnancy bumps is super fun, so sign me up. So yeah, don't be surprised if we see baby drama woven into there. Story 2, for those of you following. The books, Season 8 mainly adapts, written in my own heart's blood, but the writers are also pulling threads from other parts of the saga. With Book 9 out and Book 10 on the horizon, they're weaving together the larger story while keeping the focus tight on Jamie and Claire, as Roberts explained, nothing that doesn't affect Jamie, and Claire gets in, it's got to affect Jamie and Claw. All the main characters do. They're a part of it, but that's the drive. There's so many aspects. I mean, they're all big books, but when you have 10 episodes, you have to stay literally on track. In other words, every single plot line is tied to Jamie and Claire, which honestly feels perfect for the final season. But let's be real, just 10 episodes after over a decade with this story, that feels way too short. Still, if they keep it focu, Claire has always been a woman of logic, of science, a healer who has stitched flesh, balanced blood, and known the human body better than most. But lately she's begun to question the reality she clings to. The voice that spoke her name wasn't imagined. She knows that. She felt it. Not just in her ears, but in her bones. Something about it unlocked a memory she didn't know she had. She searches her mind for the sound of her father's voice. But that's the tragedy, isn't it? She was too young when he died. The memory of Henry Beauchamp is a photograph, a fading dream, stories her mother used to tell. There was never a voice to remember. So how then could she recognize it so clearly? The next morning, Claire visits the oldest part of the ridge. There's a clearing behind the main homestead where the original settlers are buried. Among them, neighbors, friends, even enemies. The dead rest quietly, but Claire isn't looking for graves. She's searching for something she can't yet name. As she moves through the trees, she finds strange markings carved into the bark of a willow tree. Circles, slashes, a pattern, but not random. The symbol is familiar. She's seen it before, near the stones at Craig na Donon. Her heart races. She touches the bark and gasps. A sharp image flashes through her mind. Firelight. A man's back. The same symbol drawn in chalk on the floor of a small room. She recoils, stunned. A memory that isn't hers, or wasn't supposed to be. Is this a vision? Has time begun to fold again? Back at the house, Jamie meets with Ian and Roger. They've heard the rumors too, of a man appearing and disappearing at the ridge, of a voice calling Claire's name. Ian, pragmatic and watchful, volunteers to ride out farther than usual to find signs of this stranger. Roger, skeptical at first, admits one thing. When it comes to the Fraser family, time never plays by the rules. He remembers meeting his own father, long dead, under the strangest circumstances. He looks at Claire and says, "It's not impossible. And if it's not impossible, it might just be true." Claire, tired and overwhelmed, escapes to her study. She spreads her old medical journals, diaries, and a tattered folder with the last known details about her parents. She reads again the report of the car crash. Henry and Julia Beauchamp declared dead on impact. But something gnaws at her. The report only ever found one body fully intact. Her mother's. Her father's was badly burned, unrecognizable, and identified only by clothing. What if it wasn't him? Her hands shake as she turns the pages. She finds a note tucked into the folder, one she hadn't noticed before. It reads, "Sometimes the fire is only the beginning." No signature. Her breath catches. Who would leave this? Why would it be here? She looks around, half expecting someone to be standing in the doorway. Nothing. Just the hum of wind outside. But then, another whisper, so faint she almost dismisses it. "Claire." A different voice this time. Softer, sadder, a woman's voice. Claire clutches the edge of her desk. Could it be Julia? Her mother? Is something unraveling in the fabric of time? Meanwhile, Jamie finds a footprint on the outer edge of the ridge. A man's boot, fresh. No horse nearby. The print is deep, meaning the man stood there for a long time, watching, waiting. He brings the news to Claire. She stiffens. It's real. This isn't a ghost story. Someone has come. Maybe someone who never should have been able to. That night, the ridge is eerily silent. Even the animals seem to feel it. Claire lies awake while Jamie sleeps. She listens for sounds, the creak of floorboards, the distant wind. Then, just before dawn, she hears it again. Mrs. Fraser. Not a whisper this time. A statement. Calm, controlled, from downstairs. She moves through the dark house, each step measured. Her candle flickers. She turns the corner and sees a shadow move past the front window. It lingers. She opens the door slowly. Outside, the wind rustles leaves, and someone, has left a mark on the ground. A single flower lies on the front step. A white daisy, her mother's favorite. The white daisy rests on the step like a message from another world. Claire stares at it, unable to move, her breath caught in her throat. Her mind floods with memories she didn't know she'd kept. Her mother's garden, laughter on warm London evenings, a younger version of herself hiding behind her father's coat, the scent of pipe tobacco and ink. She was barely 5 when they died, or so she was told. She picks up the flower. The stem is wet with dew, freshly picked. Someone placed it here less than an hour ago. She closes her fist around it and stands. Jamie appears in the doorway, alarmed by her pale expression. She shows him the flower. His brow furrows. Claire speaks softly. It was her favorite. My mother's. Jamie's eyes search the distance beyond the ridge. The woods, the hills. Whoever left this knows Claire. Knows enough about her past to pick that flower and deliver it like a memory on the doorstep. Claire doesn't sleep the rest of the night. The next morning, she digs deeper into her father's life. All her life, Henry Beauchamp was a name more than a man. She searches her old chest, filled with keepsakes from another world, photographs, documents, a school book, and a leather-bound journal she never read. It belonged to Julia, her mother. She turns the pages slowly, the script elegant and deliberate. At first it's mundane, travel dates, recipes, parenting notes. Then something strange. August 15th, 1947, he stood by the stones again. Said the wind whispered through them, said they spoke. I told him to stop. He said he'd heard his name in the wind. Claire's hands tremble as she reads the next lines. He asked me if I believed time could fold. I told him to leave the stones alone. I was afraid. He said one day he would find her, even if it took 100 years. Claire presses the book to her chest. Her eyes burn. What had her father discovered? Did he travel through time, like she had? Like Jamie, Roger, and Brianna? Was he lost in some fragment of history, trying to find his way back? Was he still trying? The idea feels impossible, but Claire has lived in impossibility for years. She's seen it, survived it, even bled from it. Meanwhile, Ian returns from scouting. He's found an abandoned camp just beyond the North Woods, ash from a recent fire, footprints, and what appears to be a carved wooden object, a figurine of a woman, hand-shaped and carefully smoothed. He hands it to Claire. It's crude, but she recognizes the face. Hers. Or rather, a version of her younger self. The figure's features are unmistakable. The same high cheekbones, the same waves of hair, carved in a loving, deliberate way. Claire stares at it, speechless. Jamie watches her carefully. He knows that look in her eyes. Not fear, not shock, recognition. She says one word, Henry. Later that night, a storm begins to build. Rain lashes the ridge, thunder cracks the silence. Inside the house, Claire pores over her mother's journal, tracing back references to the stones. There are multiple entries. Julia wrote that Henry would go missing for hours at a time, that he was obsessed with old Druid legends, that he believed something, or someone, was calling to him from beyond the stone circle. Claire turns another page and finds something new. A map. Drawn by hand. Dated 1946. It shows Craig na Dun. But something is different. There's a second location circled in red, a place deep in the Highlands she's never seen marked on any map before. Next to it, a note. If I can't go back, maybe forward? Claire stares at it, the storm outside mirroring the one now inside her mind. What if Henry Beauchamp didn't die in 1948? What if he vanished? What if he traveled, just like she had, but never made it back? And what if He's finally found his way forward. To her? At dawn, the storm breaks. A pink haze rises over the ridge. Everything glistens with rain and silence. Claire stands at the tree line, staring toward the woods where the camp was found. Something inside her shifts. A pull. Not just curiosity, but instinct. A blood-deep pull that says, go. She walks into the woods alone, Jamie calling after her. But she doesn't stop. Her feet move as if guided by memory. The trees whisper. Leaves crunch. She reaches the old clearing where Ian found the fire, and there, among the damp ashes, something glints. A pocket watch. She picks it up. It's engraved on the back. HB to JB until all time ends. Her parents' initials. She drops to her knees. Her father didn't die in the crash. Not really. He disappeared into time. And now, after all these years, he's trying to return. Or maybe he already has. But why now? What has he come back to say? And what price did he pay to get here? Claire clutches the pocket watch as the sun breaks through the trees. She doesn't have answers yet. But she knows one thing. Her father is here, or very near, and the past is no longer buried. It's walking again. Claire returns from the woods with the pocket watch in her palm, cold and slick with morning dew. Every tick it once held is gone. It's long stopped working, but time, she realizes, hasn't. Not really. Time in her world has always been a tide pulling at her heels. This moment feels like the wave cresting again. She shows the watch to Jamie, who studies the inscription. His face tightens. It's real, he says. Not a theory, not a dream, not a ghost story whispered among the trees. Someone left it behind. A man who once loved a woman named Julia Beauchamp, Claire's mother. Her father was here. And maybe, just maybe, he still is. But now a new question blooms in Claire's mind. Why hasn't he come to her? If he's alive, if he found her, why speak her name like a stranger in the dark? Why leave signs and objects instead of stepping into the light? She thinks back to the dream, the man's voice. Not frightened, not angry, hesitant, as if unsure of his place, as if afraid he didn't belong in the world he'd arrived in. That's when it hits her. What if Henry doesn't know who he is anymore? In the days that follow, Claire becomes consumed with finding him. She scours old notes from Reverend Wakefield's archives that Roger kept, searching for patterns of time travelers who lost themselves, who couldn't return, who left signs behind but never came back. She reads tales of people appearing in the wrong century, unable to find the stones again, some driven mad by the dissonance, others who were mistaken for ghosts, or worse. Jamie watches her wear herself thin. He's worried, but he also understands. She's not chasing a theory anymore. She's chasing blood. And then something breaks. Late one afternoon, while walking near the boundary line of the ridge, Claire hears voices in the distance. Settlers gathered near the supply house. There's talk of a man being seen again, watching from the tree line. This time someone tried to approach. The man ran, left behind a cloak, a satchel, and something else. Claire pushes through the small crowd as Jamie follows her. The item is handed to her. A photograph, black and white, weathered at the edges. A family portrait. Claire, age 5, Julia beside her, holding her shoulder. And behind them, a man. She stares at the photo. Her hands begin to tremble. Because she remembers the photo. It once sat on the mantel in their home in Oxford. But here's the thing. The original photo she remembers had only her and her mother. This one has her father too. And it's not possible. Claire falls back, stunned. Jamie catches her. She stares at the face. It's him. Older, gaunter, but unmistakably her father. Dressed not in a suit, but in rough clothing, like something from a different time. Someone, he has altered the past. Claire demands to know where the satchel was found. Ian leads her and Jamie to the spot, a shallow cave nestled near the edge of a rocky outcrop. Inside, evidence of someone living here. Books, scraps of food, charcoal drawings on the stone walls. Not random sketches. Portraits. Of Claire, 10 different versions, some from her younger years, others more recent. One shows her in a medical gown, another standing beneath the stones. One drawing shows her standing beside Jamie, their hands clasped. Her eyes are always the same, searching, wide. A daughter seen through the eyes of a father who's been watching her for a very long time. Jamie turns away, giving her space. Claire's eyes land on a final sketch, unfinished. A figure reaching for her through the stones. Her reaching back. Between them, a void. That's when she knows. Henry isn't hiding out of fear. He's lost. Emotionally, spiritually, maybe even mentally. She kneels in the middle of the cave, surrounded by fragments of a man who once read her bedtime stories, who vanished before she could ask him all the questions that mattered. And now he's somewhere in these woods, close enough to leave drawings, flowers, gifts, but not close enough to speak. Something's holding him back. Later that night, Claire sits in silence while Jamie keeps watch by the fire. She remembers something her mother wrote in the journal, a final passage. Henry always said he'd find her again, even if she'd grown old without him. He said time wouldn't care, that a father never stops looking. Claire closes the book and looks up. A figure stands across the field, this time not hiding, watching, waiting. And then, slowly, stepping forward. Jamie rises, instinctively protective. Claire grabs his hand gently and shakes her head. "Let me go." She walks alone into the dark. The figure stops under a tree. As she draws near, the moonlight casts silver over his face. It's him, Henry Beauchamp. Not a ghost, not a vision. A man, a father, and Claire, for a moment, is no longer a time-traveling healer or a woman forged by war and love and pain. She's a daughter again. But just as her lips part to speak, Henry does something unexpected. He turns and runs, vanishing into the forest like a shadow afraid of the dawn. Claire stands frozen, heart pounding, eyes full. He was real. And now, he's gone again. Claire stands alone in the clearing where her father just stood moments ago. Her eyes scan the trees, desperate to catch any trace of him, but he's gone.